So it has officially stopped snowing. It is around noontime. I tried to open up the goats this morning, and I'm sorry for the squinting, guys. Like, it is just so bright out here with like all of the snow. So I tried to open the door this morning, and it looked like it was frozen shut. So I couldn't open it. So I'm gonna try to open it now. And I have time on my lunch to dig it out, to let the goats out. Because I don't know if you guys can hear them. They're ready to come out. So I'm happy to oblige them if I can get it open. You guys ready to come out? Aren't you guys? Are you ready to come out? Yeah. I know you guys are definitely ready. Let's see if I can get this door open. This morning I couldn't. So let's see if I can. The bottom doesn't. Alright guys, hold on. I'm gonna go dig out. I'm gonna dig it out. And then I'm gonna get it. It looks like I'm gonna have to go dig it out. It's not even that much snow. I honestly, whoops, guys. Don't trip mama. There's honestly so much ice out there prior to the snow that I really think that's what's going on here, is that it's frozen shut. I don't even know if you guys can see the justice. This is so, it's just nearly reflective with all the ice that's caked. And it's part of the problem with the door back there, I think. Oh my goodness, it is really beautiful on this side because you can just, it's just all ice. All right, let's go let these silly girls out. See if I can dig them out on my lunch break. So much for eating lunch. Guys, hold on. Oh, yay! Oh, goodness. Okay, one at a time, I guess. Guys, easy. Can I come out too? I need to get some. There we go. Come on out, girls. Come on out, girls. Come on out, girls. You guys ready too? I know, it's no fun. I don't know why you went out so bad. It's no fun. Get out of here, baby. Girls, I'm sorry. I didn't need to pour it over. Oh, I love it. Thank you. Here we go. Have a good day. Have a good day. Built-in candle. Oh, you're okay. Alright, everybody's let out. Out? Did I not close this? Get back in there. Good job, June. Come on, Tiger. Come on, Tiger. Go, 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 go. Sorry, girls. Get back. Shh. No, Belle. No. No. You think by now I would learn. I don't learn. Hey! Good job. They're back in now, though. Cut some ways to get to the water. So they can all get to the water. Here you guys go. See? Here, move, Bessie. Move, Bess, so I can make a way around it. Here we go. Here you guys go. I don't know if they like the snow or not. I don't like the snow. Did you lead the charge in coming out? Hello. Hello, beautiful girls. Hello. Pinky, I think your belly's going to be dragging the ground. You're going to be our plow, huh? Hi, Rapunzel. Hi, baby. I think they're asking for hay, but oh, wide load pushing me against the You got me cornered. You got me cornered. I think they're wanting hay, but they're not getting hay until later on today. And then even then, I'll probably give them grain today and make them go through the snow. This is just one of the bad things about digging out after these storms. Everybody's ready to get out. Everybody's experiencing cabin fever. I know my daughter is experiencing cabin fever. She's been off school the last 2 days, and she was actually off school 2 days before that because she was sick. And I know we'll probably be cabin fever, experiencing it at least by tomorrow afternoon. So I think the roads will be good enough by this afternoon, but I think we'll probably just play it safe for the most part. So I let the dogs out this morning and noticed that Jane Goat was just really intent on something over across the fence, and June had been barking over here, and I came out to a really terrible scene. Alright, as I was getting ready to show you guys, the dog's alarmed. I think we have a fox problem. We've never, that's one of the few things here that we've not dealt with. We've dealt with minks, we've dealt with possums, skunks, raccoons. I've never dealt with a fox. And those are supposed to be a little bit more tricky than the others. So I'm not quite sure what to do here. I will definitely be locking up all of my chickens. And we've never had anything mess with our turkeys, especially when they're roosted. Now, Tabitha wasn't roosted high last night. She was roosted just like right in front of our chicken coop. And she was a little bit lower than usual, but I've never had anything, raccoons and all, ever messed with one of our turkeys. The only time Tabitha's only ever been messed with is when she was sitting eggs up by the house and she was on the ground. I am heartbroken. Poor Tabitha. So now, I guess the only reason I think this is a fox is because I told Mark, like, we need to get into the buck pen because that's where we're at. It's in the buck pen. This is where the kill site is, where all the defeathering happened. I need to try to follow tracks to see where she was taken through at. But the reason I think it is a fox is because I said, if we get in here, like, the dogs have not been in here. Like, we should be able to see clear indicators of what left tracks. And, you know, Mark started, he's like, yeah, you're right. Come on over here. Because I was over there. Mark's back. Do you see anything over there? I mean, I hate to set a trap, but a fox is hard to catch. It's always your favorite ones, too. Mark was just like, poor Tabitha. I'm like, yeah, it figures, because she's like my favorite. So I don't know what to do with poor Tom. Tom doesn't have a girlfriend now. And I'm probably more likely to sell Tom and let him go somewhere with girl turkeys, because I'm not interested in keeping turkeys. Those were my last 2 turkeys. I liked Tabitha a lot, but I'm just not a turkey person. So the reason, if any of you are unfamiliar with tracks, we're pretty familiar with tracks. We're both outdoors people. We like to be outdoors. We pay a lot of attention to our surroundings. And the reason we're saying it's not a bobcat is because bobcats have the ability as a feline to retract their claws. So when they walk quietly, they walk on a soft pad and they retract their claws while they're walking. So the fact that there are claw marks in the snow that aren't retracted, that's a pretty clear sign that it is not a cat. And cats are not they're more splayed out when they walk. It's more rounded, whereas a dog it's a lot sharper, and those claw marks out just even in travel from one spot to the other is a clear indicator that it is not a bobcat. It's not of the feline species. It is definitely a dog. I'm hoping it's a fox. Yeah. See, and here's what we're talking about. There are points at the end of each of these toe pads, and those are the claws. And you can tell, like, these are a little bit rounder, but these claw prints are what tell me that this is definitely of a canine species and not feline. There's more dog prints here. And dogs kind of, I've always noticed they have like that very defined X in the middle. Cats carry a wider paw. And you can see like this is actually a cat paw, but this is my cat who just went through here. See, there's more prints. And there's kitty prints. Those are kitty prints. You guys can tell they're a little bit different. But then here's a really good print. Here's a really, really good print next to my hand. So it's not a huge dog print. That's why I think it's a larger fox. And it's right on the heels of these rabbit prints. So I think that's what's been bringing the fox here. But he found something much easier to catch than a rabbit. He found a sleeping turkey. So Mark's actually got a handheld thermal reader. So he's looking at this and seeing if there's a heat signature. But I can.
You try it.
So you guys can see barely on there, those red spots are heat spots. That big red spot over there is June.
She's full of heat.
So she's full of heat. So to see that there's heat spots still here in these feathers means that that was not super long ago. It's crazy because like in the snow, I didn't hear anything this morning. That's why I'm shocked. Yeah. But you can kind of tell the snow tells a story. So you can see that there's the prints in there and they're really good clear prints. But this indent, those are her feather tips that's been drug. And this is most likely her body. So at this point, like she's probably expired. But this is the same fashion that the ducks were killed. So there were feathers. There are parts of, it's like the same parts of her wing that the duck wings were left. There's no body, there's no carcass, just feathers and tips of wings. It's like they know that those tips of wings catch on things. And he took them off. There's feathers over there, there's feathers over there. I mean, it's really hard to tell where he took her through. And that's a good example right here of wings that have flapped down. So she was flapping over here. There's feather marks over here, but these could be Tom, who's been walking around like he is right now. But this is obviously a wing that's flapped down. So there's feathers over here past Mark. I'm guessing like he chased her here. She started to fly up onto the fence. The fight went into the buck pen and it went on. Jeez, oh Pete, this is just awful. Well, it looks like you guys okay? Nobody looks like they've been scratched or anything. They don't seem crazy, but he's okay. It looks like the fight went into the buck pen or the buck house. There's feathers everywhere in there. There's feathers over here. I mean, so these right here are tail feathers. Those are tail feathers. So she was still on the run over here. If he was ripping out tail feathers, she was still on the run to be ripped out tail feathers. And these are ripped out down feathers from underneath the tail. So she was still fighting at this point. Like she was still running. And there's feathers out here. Are you upset I'm not paying attention to you? Are you upset I'm not paying attention to you, pee-pee head? I'm sorry it came into your buck house last night. I'm sure that probably scared the crap out of you. But you guys can just tell, like, it's a little bit gruesome. But I have to say, as much as I hate the snow this morning is a blessing. Because it kind of helps us. It's like farm CSI. It's farm forensics, because we can come out here and we can see blood spatter. We can tell what kind of blood it is. We can see tracks. You can almost see how it went down with the marks of the feathers in the snow, the drag marks. You can tell where there was a lot of struggle. And this kind of helps me to pick out where something happened too. If it were all brown out here, I probably wouldn't even discover this until later in the morning when I'm feeding. And even then, I'm not usually in this area. I would have just been like, well, where's Tabitha? That would have probably been the only thing, or I'd have been like, where'd she go? So I'm just gonna have to make sure to get a trail cam out. I think we've got one or two. I might put one on a post out here. I can't put it too close to the goats because the goats will mess with it until they knock it down. So I think this right here, this post off of my coop, is gonna be one of the more advantageous places to put it. But I I'm just a little frazzled because, of course, Tabitha is like one of my favorites. Tabitha's always out here, and I always say hello to Tabitha. And now there's no Tabitha to say hello to, so. Mystery of a missing duck solved. Are you setting a nest already? Mama, it's too early. I've been paying attention to Tom a lot lately since we lost Tabitha this weekend. And he just doesn't seem like himself. And it's probably because he doesn't have a female to strut for or to just puff up and be beautiful to his beautiful Tom self. And it's just kind of making my heart ache because you can just kind of tell he's a little bit lost. He gets down in the morning and Tabitha's not here to be down with him, and the chickens are in the coop, and you can just tell he's a little off. But I have made a decision that since I don't really want to continue with turkeys at this moment, that I'm going to see if I can find a good suitable home for Tom. I want him to be able to have some hens that he gets to flirt with and puff up and, you know, just do what Toms do. Be their little flamboyant selves and fan up and drum and gobble and make all kinds of little turkey poults. I just don't think that another turkey's in the plans here to help Mr. Tom feel like he's got a companion. So I think I am going to go ahead and rehome him, as much as I would like for him to stay here without Tabitha. You can just kind of tell he's not his normal self, and I think he could be much happier with another homesteading family that wants to have lots of heritage type turkeys. And I've even noticed that my Nigerian Dwarf bucks are acting a little bit odd. At night, they didn't want to go into their house. They wanted to stay out by the gate. And you guys saw we found feathers in the buck house. So I can only imagine the horrors that they witnessed. And not to mention the squawking, the carrying on, the smell of blood, just a lot of violent actions happening in the dark where they're not used to being awake. They probably got woken up out of a dead sleep to have a turkey being murdered in their house with them. So I've been trying to make sure to check on them more often in the nighttime so that I can encourage them to go back to their house, so they do feel like that's a safe space, because right now I can kind of tell they feel, for lack of a better word, violated, just a little unsure and unsafe in the buck house right now. And I can't blame them, but hopefully soon I'll have some answers on what is visiting us and what we need to be looking to catch. It has been such a very long night. Did you survive last night, little girl? Did you survive last night? Okay. The reason I'm asking that little duck if she survived the night is we actually had a coyote visit our house last night. Check out this footage from a Ring camera that's actually right there. So you can see that Ring camera is basically right up against the house. And we had a visitor that was not but a mere, maybe 10 feet away from her, and she's on her nest. But that wasn't my real fear. My real fear was the goats. I had a fear for the goats because it was so close to the house, and I was scared to death because it came from the back of the house. It came from the backyard. And it scared me because I knew that the bucks were back there, and the bucks have been acting really off. So we actually brought the bucks in. They're in this stall way over here. But you guys notice this door's closed. We came in last night and we closed everybody up because the coyote's not even 30 feet from the front of the barn. So it has no fear. So I was scared for my girls. I've got some girls like Willow. Yes, my Willow, who are about 30 days from delivering. And every day she grows slower and more cumbersome. She'd be an easy target for the coyote. It's frozen stuff. Now use what your mama gave you. So Mark and I were out last night. Oh, that you saw on the camera that is around, I think it was 12:20. It's hard, everything's kind of a blur from last night. And Mark was actually up working on a new toy that he had gotten. So he was moving around, turning on lights pretty much right up against where the coyote was outside the house. And he heard the ring notification go off. And he figured all the cats are outside. The cats were not outside. So he came to go back to bed and looked at the notification and looked at what caused the motion and woke me up. He's like, you've got to see what was out front of the house. And I was waking up out of a dead sleep. I wasn't that aware of what was going on, but the moment that I recognized what was in those frames, what was in that little video, my heart jumped out of my skin. We were up, we were moving. We grabbed tools of the trade to keep predators away at night. We let the dogs out, we came out, we closed up everything. I brought the bucks in from their normal spot and actually put them in, hi babies, and the donkeys are out here. Hi babies. And brought them into the barn, closed up the back of the barn. Donkeys didn't want to come in. I wasn't going to make them come in. There's 2 of them, there was 1 dog, so I wasn't too worried, because this one, Lola's the one that I think would have a field day with a dog in here. But when push comes to shove, donkeys are not livestock guardians. They are prey animals, and when they're pushed into a corner, they won't protect your livestock. They will run off. Oh, those are deer. Okay, I was scared for a second. So now this puts me in a very precarious situation where I feel like I have to go on the defensive because I've got a coyote that's not afraid to come up in the lights of our house, by our barn, when we've been out not an hour ago, because we'd gone out several times last night because we knew the dogs were acting weird. So we kept going outside, but that just did not deter this guy. We try to live harmoniously as possible as we can with our surroundings, but I cannot sacrifice any of these guys behind me just to live harmoniously with my wildlife neighbors. So it puts me in a very, very bad spot, a spot that I hate being in. I don't like conflict between humans. I hate conflict between humans and animals. But if this guy keeps coming back, because I know now that's what killed Tabitha and that's what killed 2 of our ducks, that he's coming back for easy meals. And once he figures out the poultry's been put up every night, he's going to start looking for the next easy meal, which could be a smaller goat or a pregnant doe that can't get away from him because she's too heavy with kid to run and to defend herself. So it just puts me in a really bad situation. It puts me in a bad situation because I would never sacrifice any of these guys. Nobody behind me would ever be sacrificed because I wanted to live harmoniously without protecting my livestock, because I owe it to my goats to protect them from things like that. I've got them in here in this fenced in area, and it is my responsibility to keep them safe from things that might want to come into the area to hurt them. So now I have to go on the defensive and start really thinking on how to get this coyote to go away. But I'm with as close as he's coming, and he's already knows that there's animals here. I feel like there's probably only one resort to this, and I hate it.